Yeah, so with the self-conscious thing, I know obviously we kind of are in the same boat with that. We actually have the same stuttering problem.
Hmm.
Obviously, yours is pretty much, I would say, faded away. Or,
For the most part, but not completely. Yeah,
yeah,
I still fall into it,
yeah.
fall back into it.
What age did you like notice? Because it probably happens so gradually you don't really notice it. But like, what age was like, oh wait a minute, I don't have that problem anymore.
Oh wow, definitely at least in the 20s.
Okay, I thought it was earlier actually.
Nah, I was definitely in my 20s by the time I started like not
Having to consider it when you're going somewhere.
right.
Yeah.
Like even now, I still, if I, again, in a unfamiliar situation with somebody that I'm unfamiliar with, if I'm unsure of what questions they're going to ask and what I'm going to have to answer,
Mm-hmm.
then immediately the stuttering comes right back
So
again.
yeah, the tie with the anxiety there. That's how it
Hmm.
is for me too. But like I mean I don't think I've heard you stutter in a long time. Like it's so rare.
It's
I honestly could not pick out like a
really
real stuttering. Like I can't say it. I've never heard you do that
good.
unless you try to like get around words like I do. But
I
I don't. It doesn't seem like you do that.
definitely that I
You
do.
do that.
Yeah, I do
Oh,
get around words, but by choosing words
I never
that
knew
are
that.
easier or whatever. Yeah, that and
Wow.
slowing down. I'll
Yeah.
consciously slow down, and choose my
Yeah.
words
Because that's kind of like
slower,
the
and that
taboo.
helps.
That's like the taboo. Like, oh, just slow down. But it actually does help.
It works for me
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, it's just a problem when people think that's like the cure, and
No,
it's so not.
there is no cure.
Sometimes slowing down is going to do anything, but oftentimes it actually will be effective. So were you in like speech or anything in school, or
Hmm.
oh, you were in speech?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I give it zero effect. Like
Yeah,
I had, it was. I thought it was just ridiculous. I mean, it was.
probably less advanced than it is now. I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my memory of it was, I think it was just in sixth grade, and I don't know who realized that. Hey, maybe we should give him some speech therapy because this
Hmm.
stuttering thing, So it was in school. Somehow it was approached. I was approached, by a teacher. It's like, hey, we're gonna do. We're gonna send you to the speech therapist.
Yeah.
For on a Wednesday, and
Like every other
yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'll go there for like 20 minutes or so,
Yeah.
and it was down in the pod where the principal's office was and
Hmm.
stuff, and it's like, okay,
So
I
you didn't
didn't
get
ask
like
for this
you
or
didn't get
anything,
like
but
a like an IEP or anything like.
what's an IEP?
I think it's just if a student has any sort of class that's extra that like speech or like I forget what
No, I was
like
the only one that went, and it was during regular class. All of a sudden, I would be
mhm.
excused to, okay, Eric, you can go down to the
Yeah,
office. They would say, or something like that.
yeah,
They wouldn't say you're going to go to the speech therapist now in front of the
mm,
class. At least they were conscious enough that, hey, we shouldn't say that,
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of everybody. But then I would go and then sit there with the speech therapist, and all they're telling you is, if you feel like you're going to stutter, slow down, or yeah, and it was just the most
Right.
basic of hints. It was like things that I've already realized myself.
Hmm.
That helps.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely. I feel like I
Wow.
got zero out of it, zero
Hmm.
help.
So they didn't have any like techniques and
Not that I
um
recall. Other
yeah.
than slow down was the only one that even I have any recollection of. That's the only recommendation they made
Hmm.
that I remember was slow down,
Man.
which I already realized long ago that slowing down
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. Yeah, like with my experience, I was never in speech in in-person school. I only did it in online school.
Hmm.
Um, but like I enjoyed it. Like I felt like it was helping when I was doing it. But now that I'm graduated, I don't have it anymore. I don't see any difference at all now. Like I feel like I've even been worse No, I'm not gonna say
Really?
worse.
Okay,
I'm not
well,
gonna say worse, but like
that's
just completely the same from when I was in high school.
hmm
So and now like I think it's definitely more advanced now from what you're saying, like with the techniques and like it's all about like what part of your mouth's making the sound. Like is it a throat sound, the front of your mouth, the roof of your mouth, and there's a lot pretty like kind of interesting stuff.
hmm
And different techniques for it, which do help, but I haven't used. I, I'm not sure if, at least last year, I've like tried to use one of the techniques because I either forgot how to do it or just forget to use it because I don't trust that they're gonna work all the
hmm
time. And now, because you choose between like okay, do I want to get around this word or do I want to try and use a technique? And then if you
right.
try it doesn't work, you're just like, damn it, I should have not brought it up. Or like if you're having like a conversation with someone in public and like I've learned to just don't try to give extra, like don't try to then ask them a question too, or like what, which I don't want to say I do that though, because like with people my age it's different. Like with people my age I can have a back and forth conversation and like not worry about it, and like okay, like I do want to continue this and like ask them stuff too and
hmm
add on to things. But with like an adult I don't know, or like at a job or something, I just learned like don't try to add stuff on it, which like you're not supposed to avoid it,
Right.
but it's just I don't want to get stuck in a situation where I can't say something and it's just completely embarrassing.
hmm
um but did you ever have like a certain time where you just like completely could not say something, and like something that you have to say, like your name or your, like what time do you leave at work, and then and then you have to actually tell them like, dude, I can't,
Right.
I'm
I
not
have
gonna
to answer this somehow.
yeah, like where you've had to actually let them know about your issue just to get past this situation.
I'm, I definitely remember that there were times when I would say to the person, not, I have a stuttering problem.
Yeah.
But I don't recall there ever a time when, like, I must answer something and was not able to, could not get
Mm.
the correct word out. I don't think it's ever been that intense. I don't think.
Mm. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
And
I was just very successful at avoiding those
yeah,
situations.
I've gotten pretty good at it too, but what was I gonna say? So for the most part, people have been pretty accepting.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
that's been
I've
my
never had any negative
yeah,
confrontations with it.
yeah. That's
Ever,
been my
ever.
experience too. I mean, some negative as in like I didn't tell them I had a stuttering problem, but like their reaction to it. But that's very rare. And then if I do let them know, they're always super nice about it.
hmm
And even though it's still so just embarrassing,
hmm
everyone's usually pretty nice about it.
Yeah, because even though, I mean, you always hear that, well, kids can be so cruel, especially at
Hmm.
certain ages, like middle school, I guess, or junior high.
Yeah, yeah,
But even even kids around me, I don't remember them ever like teasing me real harshly or anything, like really making me feel bad about it. I don't remember that ever happening, not
right.
even in one instance.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like some kids were just kind of assholes about it, but nothing that stands out to me. I can't remember like a specific time because I don't want to say they were totally innocent, but I can't pull out a specific thing that
hmm
really like impacted me. Um,
That's what happens when you live in your head. We think it's this big, big thing. Apparently, to others, it's not a big thing.
I mean,
Oh, this person stutters, whatever.
it's not, but it still is awkward
Sure.
when you stutter because I recently encountered another person in the wild who
hmm
has a lot worse than I do actually, and like it is awkward
hmm
when like it's just inherently awkward no matter how bad it is. You can't get around that even if the person is like pure good intentions or really kind about it. It just is so awkward and embarrassing, so I think that's what I'm afraid of. It's not like, are they going to accept me? It's like,
It's a fear
it's
of
still,
that situation coming.
you still know that they're like, oh, they have to cringe because I'm cringing too, you know?
Yeah. Well, I remember one thing that made an impact on me. I was trying to remember, as you were telling that story, I was trying to remember the guy's name, but I can't remember it. There's an actor who had a severe stuttering problem. And
I might have heard about it.
you would think that why in the world would you go into acting if you have a bad stuttering problem?
Yeah.
But he made a career of it. I mean, his thing, his shtick almost was how bad his stuttering problem was.
Who was this?
That's just it. I cannot remember who this person is. But I do remember he was doing like a stand-up thing and just talking.
As a character in a movie or just on his own?
Just on his own.
Okay.
And, I guess he was, it wasn't a stand-up. He was a guest on a talk show. And he was talking to the interviewer and he's telling them, he was going to tell them a story. Because I guess the stuttering thing topic was broached a little bit, you know, and then he decided, okay, I'm going to tell you this joke. And he told a joke that is like a stutterer's nightmare. It was about, the joke is about three rabbits. Foot is the name of one first rabbit. The second rabbit's name is Foot, and the third rabbit's name is Foot. And yeah, and it was hilarious seeing him trying to get this whole story. It took a long time for him to get through it, but him stuttering is what made it funny because he was having so much difficulty getting the physical words out.
Right. And you know he was doing it like he wanted to.
Yeah, he could not, you know, he wasn't putting on an act. It was, he has a stuttering problem and he's but he's telling a story
he's doing
that's
on purpose though.
He was telling the story on purpose because he knows that,
be funny.
that this is a story that a stutterer is going to have a super hard time with. And that's what made the story a much better story. And after seeing that, I was just like, wow, that's actually really cool that he has a stuttering problem, yet he decided to put himself in a public light, being an actor, first of all, and then to go on a talk show and to like purposely do a joke that he's going to stumble over and have the hardest time getting out. And it's just like, who cares? You know, like to have his attitude is what is the kind of attitude that I want to have about the stuttering. It's just, you know, so what? If I stumble, if it takes a long time to get this out, then I do, and whatever. And I kind of like tried to consciously adopt his viewpoint after seeing that. So whoever the hell that was,
I'll find it. I'll put on a picture. So he just played like roles of people who stuttered, or
if I could remember, no, he didn't. Well, whatever role that he'd be playing, he's gonna stutter. In the role, I don't think a role was written for a character that stutters necessarily.
Yeah.
It would help if I could remember who the heck this was, because I have no recollection. Because I was thinking, for some reason, I had it in my head that was Jimmy Stewart, but I don't think it was Jimmy Stewart. He didn't have a severe stuttering problem, I don't think. And I don't know why his name is associated with that with me, but I'm pretty sure it was somebody else, and I cannot remember who it was.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Mel Tillis, I think, was possibly his name.
Mel Tillis?
I think his name was Mel Tillis. And I don't think he was an actor. I think he's a singer.
Oh, okay.
The more I think about things, they're like, wow, this is completely turning around. But I'm pretty sure he's a singer. And it was remarkable. He could sing and have zero stuttering issues.
I've heard of people being able to do that, yeah. Which definitely makes sense. I mean, like if I do like karaoke or something, if I'm singing in front of other people, it's not like I'm not gonna stutter. Like I probably will still stutter. But if I'm singing, I mean, obviously if I'm singing alone, I'm not gonna stutter. But I could definitely see how that makes it easier. Like it really does.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about singing. If it's the cadence that helps, or
I think it's the fact
whatever
that
it is.
you're already turning your voice on before you start the sound.
Mm.
Because I remember that one of the strategies in speech was like kind of start like and then try to so you're already kind of warmed up, like, or it just flows more. It's all about like the easy onset, like the light contact, or some of the names, with like how hard your tongue touches the top of your mouth. That's like the light contact, and then the easy onset's kind of like, well, obviously, you want to try to be very smooth with it. But yeah, I remember the one with because she did say in my speech therapist, we're talking about people who can sing completely fine. But I still was impressed that he can sing in front of people completely fine.
Right.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, I never heard of him.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely have to look that up.
Yeah.
Especially if we can find him doing that routine and him doing that joke.
Yeah, I remember, like, I feel like even if he's doing a joke, and like he's consenting to this and everything, I feel like I just wouldn't. I just feel that pain so much. I was like, it's hard to watch, because it's inherently awkward for anybody to watch. But then especially me having the experience of it, it's like, oh man, that's just so hard to listen to. But yeah, that's cool though.
Well, all I can say is it helped me
That's good, yeah.
because it helped me to adopt his attitude towards it.
But so, in your 20s or whatever it was, it literally just kind of faded away? Like, did you kind of notice it was going, or did you notice after it was already
Oh
gone?
no, it was a long process, and it just kind of slowly, not
Yeah.
slowly went, or not went away. I was slowly able to control it better.
What would you attribute to that? Like, were you practicing anything, or were just kind of literally just naturally
Just
happened?
naturally, and like being put in those situations, and the main thing that helped me, the only strategy that I feel really worked for me was just slowing down. So I just practiced that more and more and more,
Yeah.
and that's probably why it started to improve.
Yeah. I find, like, in just conversation, I'm pretty good. Like, especially like, or if at work or in public or something, I can talk to someone like a back and forth pretty well, and not have to think about it. But when it's like I have to give someone my name or give someone my email, or then that's different. That's where the struggle is, where it's like I can't change my name, which I've done before. But yeah, like what was one of the most, like, one of the things words that you've changed that was like, ooh, I just got away with that. Like, that was pretty risky.
Oh, I can't remember one off the top of my head. I know that there's definitely words that you feel it's coming up, like, this is going to be part of this sentence, and
Yeah.
what do? Do I attempt it, or do I try to change
Yeah.
the whole structure of the sentence to get around this?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely been times like that, but I can't remember anything specific.
Because obviously I told you this, but for the podcast, I remember at camp about 2 years ago, I actually literally had a fake name the entire time. Well, for half the people, like, some people knew my real name. I don't know how. Either I told them, or they knew it from like like the list, the log of who was there. And then other people, like, I think it was like we were doing like the morning thing where it's like you have to go down to the one structure, I don't know what you call it, and then like exercises and like stretch and everything. And they asked what my name was, and I just gave it, like, I was like, shit, I'm not gonna be able to do it, so I just said it, that
What'd you use?
Max.
Max?
That's always my go-to, because it's close, MA, but for some reason I can just say especially it's because it isn't the one I have to say.
Right. And
Takes
one
the pressure.
syllable's always going to be easier.
Yeah. But yeah, for certain people, the entire week thought my name, and then when certain people found out, like, wait a minute, what? He just called you Marcus. It's like, well, I have people call me Max. I didn't think I would have to explain it, but yeah, I do have So then it's like, oh, this guy has two names. It's like, oh my god, this is the worst thing.
I've never had that happen. I never like get to the point of like, you know what, I'm gonna change my name. It's easier.
Yeah, because it like, I feel like Max works because I could see like someone being named Marcus, people call them Max. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can kind of like rub it off as like, well, okay, well, sorry, I told you
Absolutely.
Max because I'm used to telling people my name's Max, but actually, you know, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But
Has there been other times when you've used that?
yes, but not like that serious. I mean, the one was it was our dog's name. I changed his name to Max because I was walking him the one day, and then someone asked what his name was, and I said, Max. Because like that doesn't matter at all. Like
Right.
I'm never gonna talk to this person again. They don't need to know what Jake's name is. But I don't think there wasn't anything. Other times I've said my name was Max that was like pretty serious. Just like small, just like people I'm not gonna
Right.
interact with again.
Yeah.
I can't pull it off the top of my head.
But Max is easier than Jake. Just
Yeah.
because you know
It's because I don't.
because you're forced to say Jake.
Yeah, it's because I don't have to say Max, because it's just like it's in the moment, like, oh shit, Max. But if my name was actually Max, I think it'd be hard
Yeah.
because I can't change it.
Yeah.
So then I would end up saying my name is Marcus, and it's actually Max.
That's a great strategy though. Just to have that in your back pocket that I can just throw out another name.
I've been told it's not a good strategy, but
Well, it helps you get through,
yeah,
you know. Yeah. I mean, the lesser of evil, you know.
yeah, yeah. Because whenever I tell people about it, they're always like, oh my god, like, well, mom, whenever I let her know or something, it's like, oh my god, that's why'd you do that? I'm like, well, what do you want me to? What you want me to just like tell the guy, hey, I can't tell you my name, especially like what if I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you're in that situation,
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
it's just so awkward.
I can't stand there and be like, I can't tell you my name right now.
Yeah,
You can't do
which
that.
I've had to do many times, and they're always
That's why I think that strategy of having another name you can just like throw out, I think that's a great strategy.
yeah, it just doesn't work in all situations. So
No. If you're in a job interview, you
Yeah.
can't give them the wrong name, but
yeah, and they already know your name, but yeah, that was a good stuttering topic because I never actually had another stutterer on because I'm always like I've always like wanted to really talk to someone who has it, either as bad as me or worse than me, but like you don't have that problem right now, so it's hard to like I always like oh yeah, you did were a stutterer.
that should be hope for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because I thought that you were like in high school when it started to go away, but now that you said that you were in your 20s, that seems better and like okay, that seems more realistic. Because right now I don't see it going away at all. I don't get how I could just stop thinking about it, and just like oh, I forgot about stuttering. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but I don't know. I'm able to get through most things, which isn't really
Right.
that motivational. But
You've had a lot of years developing strategies of how to get around things.
yeah.
I ain't been this high Perkins in a long time. I ain't been this high Perkins in a long time. I took 2 30s and a half of a third one. I feel like I can see everything with my third eye. Feel like I'm floating, see the world from a bird's eye view. These drugs remind me of a girl I knew. A little sweet, a little sour, and it vibes with the mood. Ain't no competition, baby, but I'm higher than you. Pray to God I never come down, down, down.